In this video, I'm going to show you my full altcoin portfolio, my average entries, the loss that I'm in, the win that I'm in, and what my plan is. Because you have to have a plan, and that's exactly what we're going for today. And you might feel like, showing your portfolio, what's the purpose?
Bro, we are altcoin investors. We have no purpose in life. This is what we do.
So let's check that out. Welcome to the Fomo Factory. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and let's get right into the portfolio. Small update though, in the Alpha Factory, a couple times a week, I'm gonna throw the camera on, I'm put a link down there, and you can just join me when I'm doing whatever I'm doing. So you can talk to me, look at your portfolio. If multiple people come in, we can do some trading, etc. So do check out the Alpha Factory down below. But let's get into the portfolio first. So at the moment of recording, the altcoin market is still in a opportunity range, and I cannot call it low, I cannot call it high, I can only call it opportunity to buy, an opportunity to get out, right? Because that's exactly what it is. Low prices are not a bad thing, and I want you to really realize that, because I can show you the portfolio, and I'm gonna do that. I won't make you wait too long, but do stick around to the end because there's something cool right there. But I want you to know why I am building this portfolio in the first place, because a lot of people are now scared, and I posted in the public Telegram that it's all been moved a bit to the right. It doesn't mean that an alt season, an altcoin run, whatever, won't happen, but it won't, and it can't happen as long as everybody still has hope. We need people to believe that this time is different. Let people sell the lows. It's impossible to pump when everybody is already in. The more FUD I see regarding alts, the better I feel, because it's player versus player, and our competition is just slowly giving up over time, right? Back in 2021, it was not that everybody was fully prepared for what was about to come. It was the same back then. Nobody cared, nobody believed, everybody said it was over, and that's what we need. Altcoins cannot pump if there's still a lot of liquidity and that not a lot of people join. It pumps really hard because first the liquidity gets taken out, and then a lot of people get in, and if you're already there, then that's great, of course. It's not a train that waits for everybody to take the time to come in. In fact, the risk reward for alts is now better than what it was since this whole cycle, basically. Yet people rather bought 5 months ago when it was high risk, low reward. It doesn't make sense, but that's how we as humans are.
We, as humans, are naive little creatures. And you know that if you read the Bible, it says, buy high, get wrecked.
So yeah, we need confirmation, otherwise it's just scary. However, confirmation doesn't go together with opportunity. If you now are bearish on alts, you are not bearish, you are scared. And that's exactly when you should buy. So no bears allowed right here on this channel for the coming couple months. Be bearish when the market looks like you should be bearish, okay? And that's definitely not now. So this is my main portfolio. These are the liquid holdings. This is not my cash. This is not my pre-sale vestings. These are not my notes. This is purely the liquid coins that I am holding right now and that I've built an exit strategy for. Now, somebody in the Alpha Factory made this platform so we can actually set a selling plan. If you look at my Seedify, for example, this is my average entry, 94 cents. Cool. It's a little higher than what it is right now. I'm in a loss on Seedify with 28%. It's what it is, right? But I said to myself, hey, I want to sell at 196, 392, 589, 785. And I'm gonna leave about 20% as a moon bag in case everything goes above our expectations. Because what if it gets there, you will sell everything and it turns out that the market is just doing what it always does and it gives us like insane returns. In that case, you miss out on a big lag. You might FOMO back in and get wrecked anyway. That's not what you want. So it's better to make sure that with this 80% in my case, that I reach my goal. The other 20% is a moon bag. And if that 20% goes to zero, it doesn't matter because I reached my goal already, right? That way I'm hedged, no matter what. So the coins that I'm in at the moment, in just, again, full transparency, and it's not to make you show like, hey, this is what I have, you should buy the same, but hopefully you'll notice then that I am not just talking about these coins for no reason. I actually have them, and also to show you my thought process on it. So with Seedify, it's my biggest holding. I'm in a loss. It's fine. right? It's money-wise, it's quite a lot, but you know, percentage-wise, 30%. Look, if you look at Seedify at the moment, then you can see that I can see it. I'm in a 30% loss. Okay, 30% loss. That's cool. But if I was in a 30% loss, if this coin was already at highs, then it would suck. But it's pretty much at lows. It is super hard to be in a profit with Seedify unless you exactly bought over here somewhere, right? So I'm not too concerned about that, actually. And I'm not gonna explain every coin, what it is, what it does, what the second name of the grandmother of the founder's neighbor is. I don't really care about that in this video. I'm just showing you what I have, right? So I have Seedify. I have that as my biggest holding because I have faith in the market, and whenever the altcoin market is going to do well, new projects are going to do well. And how do you get into new projects with like low risk launchpads? Well, Seedify is the blue chip launchpad. Am I technically in a loss with Seedify? I participated in some IDOs over there, of course, and they put me in a big profit. So overall, everything that I got out of Seedify is in a profit. But the token itself is in a loss, right? Ethereum, second biggest holding. That's for a good reason. I said at the beginning of April that Ethereum is the biggest brain dead buy there was. And why is that? Not necessarily because of where it was sitting on the dollar chart, although $1,400 was a pretty good sign that that was a decent buy, but mostly because Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair went to macro lows, right? And it happened that it had a huge bounce off of that point, and it stays elevated from that point as well. And also, if you look at the Ethereum dominance, that puts it a little bit more in perspective, right? Ethereum dominance bounced off of this low right here, which was the best buy ever for Ethereum, apart from the ICO. But you could not have stepped into Ethereum in a better time. Was it lower in price earlier? Yeah, but other coins were as well, right? So there it didn't really matter if you got into Ethereum necessarily. But here, Ethereum was really low against the rest of the market. It dominated with just 7%. And that showed like, hey, that's too low for Ethereum. And it went all the way to 22%. And the market, of course, also went up. So Ethereum on the dollar pair back then did a 30x. It went here again. And that shows to me like, hey, Ethereum is just cheap relative to the rest of the market. And that's why I increased my Ethereum position. And something else that backed it up as well is that if you look at altcoins on their ETH pair, altcoins were outperforming ETH like crazy. We only went that high once before April 2021. When was that? Fucking alt season, dude. So yeah, this was like the buy, right? And now you can see that altcoins are underperforming Ethereum, or ETH outperforming alts, just a matter of how you look at it. And I think that we will have more of that. So definitely ETH is there. Got some AVAX. I think AVAX is cheap at these prices. AVAX is just a chain that's not very sexy. It's not very moonshotish, but it is a chain that has so many partnerships. It built such a great piece of tech that I feel like, man, AVAX is something as a higher risk, high reward than ETH and Bitcoin, but also that I feel like, man, I feel comfortable with AVAX. I feel really comfortable with that. ChainGPT, to go a little bit more in depth actually on this one, I got an average buy price of 5.8 cents on ChainGPT, and I already sold a little bit when it was sitting at 12 cents. Why? I don't know. I think that ChainGPT will go higher than 12 cents. Yeah, 100% it will go higher than 12 cents. I mean, 15 up to 18, well, 17 is the first big resistance. But that's for me personally, because I look at my average entry, I look at my goal, and then I feel like, hey, if I DCA out like this, I reach my goal, right? So I don't even have to hope that the price goes there. It's pretty easy in this case. So I sold there. I will sell at 19, 27, and 36. And again, I'm gonna leave a moonback of, in this case, 28%. But even without that 28%, if I hit all these targets, which go up to just, again, 36 cents, right? Then I'm gonna walk away with a 3x. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but hey, for me, That's good. Plus my other 28% that also 3x's at least from this point. I like ChangeGPT as, again, they are the launchpad that shows that they are doing very well. They did it right from the start. I just love what they're building, and they are really like, hey, we build, we deliver, and then we talk about it pretty much, right? It's not promise. Joe, I went a little too crazy on Joe compared to my conviction, but this is one of my mistakes, is that I bought Joe really high. Don't know exactly where my first buy was. Therefore, I felt like, man, if I DCA out, then it first has to go up so much for me to walk away with a profit. So I was like lowering my entry. Yeah, I bought at 16 cents, the latest buy. That was really helpful, was a good buy. It's now sitting at that same point, give or take, right? So the chance is still there. But I think that that's really low for Joe, actually. If you look at the market cap and where it could go, it was sitting at 60 cents back in December, and it was even sitting at 120 or so in March. So yeah, with now an average of 28 cents, I am pretty okay with that. And Joe is also cool because you can just stake the token on their own website, and you get a revenue share of the DEX. And since it is the biggest DEX on AVAX, I feel like, okay, cool, good bet to take. Plus, you don't have to lock your tokens. You can unstake at any time, and you get USDC for it in return. So it's just a passive coin, which could really pay off as soon as the whole chain gets some volume. Wild World, it's a lot for a single game, but I must say that Wild World is also looking way too good for the valuation that they have. Everybody was all about off the grid. I think that Wild World doesn't look less good than off the grid, to be honest, but the market cap is just way lower. There's a market cap of $64 million. Deserves to have zero behind it, at least, in my opinion. Render, safe AI play. Tau, same. I think that Tau is, likely to be pretty big. Ronin, in a fat loss on that as well. And a lot like Wild, I'm in a big win percentage-wise. ChangeGPT, AVAX, Ethereum, right? And sometimes you win a loss as well. And with Ronin, I don't even have my exit strategy right here because my average entry is so high that I feel like, yeah, what am I going to do, man? But I already have quite a lot, so buying more and going completely Joe on that one for me feels like I don't know with Ronin. It's just I'm just waiting a little bit, thinking about it. No rush. AIOZ took a little profit out already, not much. I took $300 profit and $1,600 profit. I didn't really know why I bought this coin in the first place, and I was in a profit, so I felt like, let me set the goal to sell it a little low. Beam, I think that Beam is really cheap right now, actually, with a market cap of 340 million bucks. Like, it sounds like 340 million. It depends, like, what coin it is, right? Last cycle, Cardano did a 100x pretty much from a $1 billion market cap. Was it because of the product? Cardano never had products, right? So it's mostly because of just community standing behind it and a market that completely lines up. I'm not saying that Beam will 100x or whatever, but I feel like, man, there are other projects that did something similar that I feel like, ooh, if they can, right? Tokenomics are good. If you look at the market cap for Beam, it actually in this market already without an alt season went to $2.2 billion. Which is 5 times as high as where we are right now, pretty much, 4. So I feel like, man, Beam has a lot of room to go up, actually. And if you think that gaming will never be big, then I don't know what to tell you. But I can guarantee you that it will, gaming and crypto. There's nothing, in my opinion, that makes more sense. But it takes time, right? And yeah, people time capitulate pretty much in crypto, right? So therefore they feel like, it won't happen because it didn't happen yet. It didn't happen yet doesn't mean it won't happen. I think gaming is slower, but eventually gonna see the biggest gains we have ever seen in crypto. I can bet on all the individual games that might die in the meantime, or I can buy into some decent layer 1 infrastructure projects like Beam. Got some near, pretty much just where I bought it. It's just a little boring, but I feel like, man, with near, my goal is a 3. I know how comments could be like, oh, boring coins, will never do much. I don't need much, right? So why would I take more risk? If I want a 3x, why should I build a 20x portfolio? Because that's more likely to go to shit as well, right? Projects like Near and Tau and AVAX, they are less likely to die than whatever kind of low cap new trash coins. So that's what I'm focusing on mostly. Got some super. It's a free bag, traded it a little bit, sold pretty high, bought really low, and I have a free bag right now. So I feel like taking profits right now, buying more right now, it all doesn't make sense to me. But you can see that super is just crazy because whenever the market goes up, super goes up really hard. Whenever the market goes down, super goes down harder as well. But you'll see how it responds to these bounces, right? 150% whenever the market did a 60% gain. Yeah. Say whatever you want, but it shows that even in the period of crypto where gaming is dead, super is an outperformer. I love this project. Made me a lot of money so far. And I think that sitting at 63 cents, the main support will always remain about 40 cents, give or take. But yeah, the only times we really went there, this market was during a wick. Right. So if we get a capitulation in this market, which could take certain cryptos down more and super goes down here, then super is one of the first coins that I'm going to buy because it also shows like, hey, every time we get here I have an easy 2, 3, 4x for you afterwards. And that's not a guarantee that it will happen again. But yeah, if you're not betting on it again, then what are you doing? Arrow, percentage wise, in a decent loss, actually 38%. But I think that Arrow is actually pretty good. And I will probably buy some more if the market corrects a little further. Why Arrow? I'm thinking in steps back. Is the macro looking good? Macro is looking fantastic. Of course, we have tariffs news and we have this and that. There's always some bad news, but overall it's looking really good. Is the stock market looking good? The S&P is almost back at new all-time highs. That tariffs wick was bought up like it was nothing. The stock market looks fantastic. So is therefore Bitcoin looking good? Man, Bitcoin is over 100K, right? Bitcoin is not the problem. There's money in the market. So yes, looking good as well. Is therefore the outlook for the altcoin market looking good? It has never looked better in my opinion. It takes time, but it's sitting at a level where, again, we have a lot of people being scared if they are here. And that's the best moment ever to buy. So if altcoins are also looking good, is Ethereum looking good? Ethereum came out of a zone where it went once before and it had a huge bounce right there, telling me that Ethereum is likely to have a very good run this cycle. Ethereum is looking like a beast. Are the layer 2s on Ethereum then maybe a good idea? Definitely, because Ethereum is still a little expensive for the average user, especially if we go into a full bull. So what layer 2s are we looking at? Well, in my opinion, Base, it has the speed of Solana, it has the transaction cost of Solana, but it has the security and the uptime of Ethereum. So Base is basically taking the best of Solana, the best of Ethereum, and putting it together. Now, Base doesn't have a native token, but it has a native DEX, which is Arrowdrome, and that has a native token, which is Arrow. So therefore, I'm betting on Arrow. My average entry is 86 cents. It's now at 56, something like that, 53. So I'm down. Not as down as Superman or whatever, but you know, I'm down in my entry. It's okay. I feel with this project, it's worth to DCA over time, and not every 5% correction. But like I showed earlier on the channel, whenever the market takes a really good hit, then I'm a buy. And I do think that we are now in a buy zone. Every time we touched this trend line was a good buy. It was no exception. There was a time that we went a little below it, but yeah, I mean, if you buy here and sell here, yeah, then you suck, of course, right? But overall, if you bought here, then you are now still in a profit. So now it's definitely a good time, but I'll always keep some money in case we get something like a black swan or whatever, and then Arrow is pretty much on top of my buying list. Sidus, it's my moonshot. Sidus is I'm down on Sidus as well with 59%, so I got wrecked with Sidus. Well, it's not my biggest holding or anything, at least not because I'm wrecked anymore, right? But it was never really my biggest holding anyway. But with Sidus sitting at a $9 million market cap, I feel like, yeah, you know, whenever all the stars align, Sidus does show like, hey, we outperformed the fuck out of it, right? Here it went from a like $8 million market cap, $7 million market cap to $150 million market cap. In a period where gaming and launchpads had a little hype, but it wasn't even really that season yet. In the December pump even, it went from a $24 million market cap to a 80-something million market cap, pretty much a 3.5x. And if I look at the chart right now, I feel like, hey, we're now back at 9 million, right? That's a level that was historically an epic buy. So although it got wrecked really hard, yeah, this is the worst moment ever to let go of it. For me, it's then it's like, okay, wrecked or rich. I'm not selling Sidus to later witness that it makes such a move again. But am I really a fan of the project itself? Yeah, I like the price chart actually, and that's kind of it for me. Decubate in a fat ass loss as well, and you'll notice that my bigger losses are down here below, right? I just don't like my higher convictions are the safer plays, and they're up in the list. But Decubate is in my top 3 with launchpads, right? Together with Seedify and ChainGPT, but Decubate is a micro cap. So it is a really risky project when it comes to market cap. But if I look at what the founder is doing and what they are building and the unique use cases that they have for their project, which makes it way less likely to die than other launchpads, I am not betting big enough on Decubate. My average buy is 3.3 cents. It's now sitting at 0.09. So that's also cool. Like with every buy that I make, I lower my entry with so much. And that's my plan for Decubate in the coming time, basically. And I have some desync, a coin that I feel like, yeah, should I have it? Should I not have it? So this is one that I feel like, man, I have a lot of coins, right? If I have to let one go, then desync would be the first that I would consider. Paid is also a launchpad. In a loss on that. With Paid, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe my buy was a little too impulsive. GPU as well, fat loss on this one, 70% down on GPU. But this is not a coin that I feel like, oh, I want to buy it. I bought it. Why did I buy it? I don't know, actually. I got caught up in the hype maybe a little bit. Hey, I make mistakes as well. I don't know, actually. But if I look at the chart and I feel like, yeah, I'm for fuck's sake not going to sell it now at least, right? And we'll see what it does. OXO, it just has an interesting price chart. This thing is volatile. It's all about privacy and it's good to have some exposure to it. Altora, it's a free bag. I don't feel like dollar costing in on Altora just yet. Then I have some Conducts, Moonshot, some Prime. I got a really good entry, and although I'm in a small loss right now of 16%, overall Prime is sitting at real low prices right now compared to where it came from. The chart looks like this level right here might be something. If it doesn't hold, then I'm going to see if it goes down here at around 150, 120, 150, like how does it do right there? And that's far from here, right? But it's good. It's crypto. I mean, it went down 50% multiple times. So what's one more time? Then I might consider getting some more, actually. But I'm not buying every time into a falling knife or anything. I round-tripped my Prime, in all honesty. And I'm okay with that. Playable. Yeah, this is just such a, like, therefore it's so down below the list. Like, Playable is like, it's so micro cap, this either dies or does 100x. So I feel like if it dies, okay, my money dies with it, fine. If it does 100x, I'm still pretty fine with that as well, right? Easy launchpad, it's still a good launchpad. My timing wasn't great, to be honest, but I think that if you look at the launches that they have, then that's definitely not bad. I'm down 65%. I might lower my entry on this a little bit because I think that this is really one to keep in mind. And although it's high risk as hell, I look this price chart, it looks like shit, I know. But if I look at how they are building and what kind of launches they have, I feel like, okay, apparently we just need a good market. Well, I expect a good market, so easy might be an easy one, no pun intended. Some BNB, just some gas. Domi Online, real micro cap, kind of moonshot with some money. Supra, I already gave up on it. I fucking should have not bought Supra. It's just a a very inflationary VC coin. Maybe it has something in the tank for later on. Engine starter was a rock. Unfortunately, hey, shit happens. It did very well and it gave me some nice rewards, right? I invested in the ChainGPT sale through Engine Starter, so I made a fuckload of money with Engine Starter. But yeah, the token itself, the team showed like, hey, in this market, we give up. What can you do, right? And then I have some parallel AI. I don't know why it's 300. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with that, but I have it. That's my liquid portfolio. Now I haven't set a exit plan for all of them, only with the green things. But what you can see right here is that it's now 240k. If every target gets hit, and my targets are conservative, but if every target gets hit, then I will walk away with a profit of this and a total of this. It's not really true though, because again, with Seedify, for example, I said like, hey, I still have 12k Seedify tokens that I am not using in my exit strategy. If you want to use this platform, by the way, there's a link down below. By all means, free, no sign up, just helpful. In all honesty, you would fucking love this. Everybody in the Alpha Factory that I speak, they say, whoa, dude, I needed this and I needed this. This amount of money is based on the Seedify tokens that I currently have as a HODL reserve with the current value, right? But if Seedify goes to $7, 10x from here, right, then my HODL reserve right here, which is 8k, goes to 80k, right? So that also makes a difference right here. So that will be well over $1 million, and that's my goal, man. And then I have some cash left, I have some pre-sales, I have some node investments, and if I can reach my goal with only this, then I'm happy. If we're not getting a 3x out of this market, then what the fuck are we doing? Especially from these prices. we can do that. And probably way more. But you have to realize a coin can do a 5x, right? But are you actually walking away with a 5x? If you happen to be lucky and time the top, then yeah. But if you are smart and you build a DCA strategy, then no. So therefore, this platform helps so much. So that's what I wanted to share today. Let me know. What's your thoughts about the coins that I have in the portfolio down below? What should I get rid of? What should I include? Give me the best tip on what to get rid of, what I should add, whatever. A good reasoning, of course. And if I feel like, hey, I kind of like what you said right there, I'm gonna send you $20, right? I'm gonna ask for your email and I'm gonna send you $20. It's not a lot, but hey, free $20. Who doesn't like that, right? So thanks for watching. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn the bell notification on, and I'll see you in the next one.